about Impressionism. So in Art Hub, we've been doing Impressionism as part of Artist Inspiration. Every month we take different artists or different movements. And what's really interesting about Impressionism, and obviously I'm going to see Ruth's take on this, is that we're both modern nature, contemporary nature inspired artists. And we feel that Impressionism was like a pivotal point.
Hmm.
It's the point at which it changed. And
Yeah.
it's almost like a group of artists just got together and went, right, what can we paint?
We're going to try something completely different from what went before it, which was the Renaissance, which dominated art culture from 1300s right up to
Mm,
Impressionism, which was about 1875. So
mm,
if you think about that, it's absolutely massive, isn't it? It's like,
it
what's that,
is.
500 years of a particular movement, and then it changed. And then if you think about what happened after that with modernism and contemporary art, there was so much more
Yeah.
invention that came after that as well. So it was huge, huge impact.
Absolutely huge. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, first of all, I'll put some, I've just got this just on the public domain. So, I'm just going to share with you in case you, I mean, most people do know what. Oh, hang on a minute, I've lost it. It's because 2 seconds. You carry on talking whilst I that's it. There we go.
You got it.
Sorry about this. This is the liveness. Had lost me impressionistic paintings. There we go. Here we go. You can see that, Ruth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So here we go. And really, Ruth and I were saying how amazing it is, how modern they still look.
Hmm.
I mean, the Impressionist movement started 1875-ish, as you
Hmm.
were saying. So a lot of these were painted 1875 to 85, that sort of time, isn't it? That
Yeah.
end of that century. So, and it's amazing because how brightly coloured they are, how modern they look. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And I think the important thing is as well is like the subject matter completely changed then from painting things in the Renaissance was about European dominance across the world and people acquiring these new exotic things from across the world. Whereas this is very much more about ordinary people, ordinary scenes. You could almost say it's a more accessible kind of art in a way.
Yeah.
Like
If you
more-
look, it's, scenes that they were actually experiencing, but also
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
and movement as well. If you look at some of Degas stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, just people in a field, and
Yeah.
it's just capturing whatever they are experiencing and capturing light as
Hmm.
well.
Hmm. And it's
Mm,
about being in that moment as well, rather than um, the Renaissance was a lot more of a celebration around science as well. So a lot of it would be quite sort of structured in a way, and that's when we started getting things like perspective in art. Whereas this is a lot more free, isn't it? Even
It's
like the brush strokes and the way it's painted.
And they've explored with brushstrokes as well. So they're exploring with colour, they're exploring with brushstrokes, because then repeated brushstrokes that give the impression of a leaf as opposed to painting a realistic
Yeah,
leaf.
yeah,
Or, the way sometimes I'm just looking to show, yeah, these are just these the it's the movement is shown through the brush stroke, through the
yeah,
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 and mood as well, to do with color.
yeah,
It's quite interesting if you look at the different colors. um and the subject matter is very, you could say it's very mundane. It's the sort of subject matter that we're interested in, isn't it? It's about observation from life.
Yes, yeah, and it's about the human experience, so it's capturing that in a very, well, I suppose it's the magic of the human experience, isn't it? And the
Mm,
beauty of nature that's around us, which is something that still influences us, isn't it, Debs?
it is. Yeah, absolutely. And when you look, they're painting exactly what they are interested in,
Yeah,
aren't they?
yeah,
It's just something people say to us all the time, don't they? What is it that I should paint? What and you go, it's like they can't, sometimes people don't understand what to paint because there's just like so much choice and it's just like just see something that attracts you and just paint it. It's almost, you can overthink it, can't you,
yeah,
really?
yeah,
Um and I think a lot of the Renaissance type art was so, there was a lot of iconography in there. There was a lot of very, very deep meaning, wasn't
yeah,
there, in it
yeah,
all?
of kind of symbolism. And
Mm,
it was much more a period when it was about art being a luxury and acquisition. So you'll see a lot of kind of still lifes during that period with, gold vases and exotic fruits and things like that. And it was more about a kind of a display of wealth, whereas
mm,
this is much more to do with, I think, connecting with ordinary people and day-to-day life. So it's a complete shift from the Renaissance.
very, yeah, yeah, very much so. And then, I mean, this is where it starts to get a bit merged because you get this post-impressionism. But the point is that very, very quickly people started to try different things. So Van Gogh celebrating, and the way that colours were used,
Yeah,
very bright. But if you go back and look, so Monet was capturing light, and then he would paint the same scene like the water lilies over and over and over again,
yeah,
and a real study of it,
yeah,
just whatever they're interested in. It's,
yeah.
it's fabulous, actually. I think it's fabulous. I might come back to you because I just wanted to show a few of the paintings so that people understood what we were talking about, really. Um, although I think most people have a good idea about Impressionism because I don't know, it's just something you just, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think so. I think
Yeah,
most people know.
it's quite well known, isn't it? And I think it's
Mm,
quite popular still. I mean, there's still lots of exhibitions on Impressionism.
mm,
And what I always find is seeing the paintings in real life as well. There's such like luminosity to them. Like
mm.
the light was obviously a really important thing in terms of like capturing within their artwork,
Yeah.
uh, and those kind of natural scenes.
So natural scenes,
Mhm.
subject matter that's day-to-day life,
Yeah.
whatever they're experiencing, but also capturing movement,
Hmm. Hmm.
playing with colour and
Yeah.
playing with brush strokes, all the things that we like to do, actually.
Yeah, because I think it was kind of a time as well where artists started to also, when you say colour, kind of step out of trying to get a really realistic picture of what was in front of them. I mean, they were mocked at the time.
Mm,
It's crazy to think about it now, but the word impressionism was like a mockery of them having like to people that were like into the Renaissance, it looked like an unfinished painting to them.
mm.
Um, and yeah, that's interesting to think like how popular it is now and how much we think of that as art as being like more of an expression of a moment, a time, a feeling. It was a real change, isn't it, to how
It's a
things.
real change, yeah. And yeah, I'm wondering about how that relates to authenticity,
Mm,
because I don't. it's hard to say that the Renaissance painters weren't being authentic because they would have been too. So
Yeah.
it's like, but it's a different sort of, it's more of a almost a raw
Yeah.
authenticity.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah. And it also, I would imagine at the time as well, it also broke down a lot of the class barriers to art as well, because the Renaissance was very much a time of celebrating academia and knowledge and life experience. Whereas, the artists during the Impressionism period were more like, well, I can pick up a paintbrush and express myself as well.
Mm.
So all of that stuff was going on. So it's fascinating, really, the amount of change that would have been happening at that time.
Yeah, another huge change is that there was more landscape. So
Yes.
before that, it was almost considered a sort of second rate. I mean,
Yeah, like
watercolor.
a hobbyist kind of thing to do, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And that changed as well. And then I also think that a lot of what they did with color and all sorts of things and brush strokes has led to, I know that it was later that things like acrylic came in, but it's led to exploration, which has led to new art materials and all sorts, really.
Yeah.
So it's massive. It's massive. And then because they were exploring, so to give you some context, this was a movement that started in Paris with a group of friends, essentially. So one of them was doing it, then another one was doing it, and they were going in their own directions because they were going, well, I'm interested in. So Degas like painting his ballerinas, and Monet's saying, well, I want to capture the sunlight. And then you got pointillism as well. Trying
Yeah.
to think who brought pointillism in, but it's like all of that. Is it Passara? Do you know? Do you
I
know?
don't know off the top of my
No,
head.
no,
I
no.
need
But
to
that
Google it.
came in around the same time as well,
Yeah.
didn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. So, and all that. Oh, it is quite amazing, actually.
Hmm. And then to think of the knock-on effect that it had afterwards when you've got people like Van Gogh after that and all of
Mm.
the modern art that preceded that, it really opened up like a whole new way of people expressing themselves.
And to put it in perspective, and I might be wrong about this, didn't they have to have a separate exhibition because basically
Mhm.
art was did not accept
Yes. Yeah.
their art?
Yeah. And at the time, absolutely everything was kind of juried by really high up academics and people in the art world and people that were interested, I suppose, in continuing that same kind of narrative, that same kind of Renaissance narrative that was going on. So to them, that, yeah, they completely the, I suppose the professional art world completely rejected it, didn't they? So
They did, yeah.
to be inventive and pave their own way, really, and do their own exhibitions and
But
get,
they did. They did.
yeah.
They did their own exhibitions, and yeah. And obviously it worked because it took off, and I'm sure other artists were like, "Oh, I could paint like this." Yeah. Yes. So
Yeah,
very, very quickly you get post-impressionism, then you get cubism, and you get all these things just come very, very quickly. Expressionism,
yeah, yeah,
all very, 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 very quickly, one after the other, when you look at how things have changed. And then you get modern materials come mid the next century.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
that is a fast movement, isn't it, really, when
yes,
you look at the change?
yeah, yeah. When you look at from when Impressionism started to where we are now, there's been a huge amount of movements and different kinds of art and to think where we are now in the art world, I think things have, yeah. I wonder what's going to come next myself because I feel like there's a lot of art at the moment which is almost retrospective of kind of old movements and things. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next. And we've now got AI and all of that stuff.
Yes, and you wonder how that's going to. It was quite interesting because I saw something the other day about AI, and it was talk because I think there may be. So these are things that I think might happen. There might be a bit of a backlash against the AI where art becomes really important, perhaps for people to actually do the art who aren't necessarily artists but need to connect to the creative
Yeah.
part of them. Crafts as well. I can imagine that that's going to be. It is big anyway. You're seeing it with things like knitting and crochet and stuff like that. That's coming more back in. But I also think that it's really interesting that you can use AI or you can use, because I used to use Procreate. So you
Uh-huh.
can start to do really original compositions where you're inspired by some of the AI. It's sort of just it could be an ideas generation that turns into, as opposed to digital art. But obviously, I'm sure there'll be a digital art, another revolution as well to do with AI. But that's a little bit more what you would expect. But I think that from the point of view of physical art, it could change things in a different way.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
it will possibly be more an inspiring change yeah. I don't know what you think. Have you got any other ideas that have
Yeah,
popped
I
up?
mean, I hope so. I think there's definitely going to be a kind of a backlash and rebellion in terms of AI. And I think we might be turning more towards a really kind of intricate handcrafted things that only the human brain and hand can do. So maybe leaning more into that kind of thing. Um, Because no doubt, like AI is useful for some things, but you can't replace that human element of art and that human connection that we get when you see something that is handmade. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's an interesting time, isn't it? And it's an interesting time as well in terms of the art market because I almost feel like it's split at the moment into kind of two different things. You've got like the super wealthy. You've got that
Mm,
gap between the rich and the poor, which is widening with, super
mm,
rich people. And art collection for the super rich has become more of a kind of an investment thing in terms of value.
mm,
So there's lots of, crazy prices in terms of auctioning, um, and people collecting art for value, which is interesting because I think it's probably, the famous artists are probably kind of at their peak in terms of what things are going for now, what things are selling for. Um, and then I also think there's a room for a lot more kind of conceptual art as well in terms of just where we are in life. I think in terms of like political direction, I think the world's become quite muddled and we've all become a little bit disillusioned with where we're going in the future. Like, I don't think politicians anymore have got a real idea of what the future's going to look like, and that's a bit scary.
But what's really scary is I'm not sometimes sure that politicians are seeing the overall picture.
No,
They're
no,
very
they're not
much,
candid enough, are they, to really? I don't think so.
yeah, it's like they're in their own little bubble.
But yeah,
Yeah. Uh,
yeah,
and it felt like in the past, politicians were much more connected to the people, but maybe I'm wrong, but it's how it feels.
yes, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then, of course, there's a lot going on with the earth and nature and global warming and all of those things, some of which some certain politicians don't even believe in. You're just like,
yeah. Well, you've got the kind of the chaos makers, haven't you, that's happening at the moment with Trump and things that's just kind of whipping people up into a frenzy about things
mm,
and just feeding that whole, I suppose, like more negative narrative about immigration
mm.
and that's what I mean about like
Gosh,
I
we're getting
don't
quite political here.
yeah I just think that maybe it's a time because traditionally it's when we've faced times like this it's been artists that have been the ones that are like looking at an alternative way to do things. Because
Mm.
obviously, a lot of things that we used to do in the past just aren't working anymore in terms of the economic system. We're destroying the planet. Technology's kind of taking over, and there's a lot more, I think, mental health issues within people because of the
Mm.
culmination of all this stuff.
And
So,
it's almost like you need to, this sounds awful, but switch off from the news.
yeah, yeah,
It's like a sort of a revolution that's a quieter type of revolution where we go, no, we want to live like
use,
this.
live differently.
We
Yeah,
want to live differently.
step
Yeah.
outside of that a little bit just to give yourself a bit of respite because the way that we're living now, it's not conducive to being a person.
To mental health, really, as well. It's just,
No,
well, to
it's
health.
kind of,
It's
yeah,
like
I think people at the moment are really interested in trying to rebuild community again, some sense of community. And I think,
slowing down so that you're
yeah,
actually listening to what you want as a person, being more authentic. Yeah,
yes,
I think this is interesting because I think from a social media point of view, I actually looked at some videos that I did in lockdown when we had to just go online, and I thought, I really don't. So I set everything up. I was going to put them all on YouTube, and then I thought, the content's okay, but the quality is just rubbish. And so I didn't actually put them up there. And I'm thinking to myself, do you know what? People actually are going to be all right with this. I
yeah,
might do some, I think the audio needs to be clear. But I did think, well, I might put these up
yeah.
because people are more accepting of you just getting out there and being you.
Yes, and actually, I think it was starting to reach a tipping point where people are actually hungry for that instead of the polished social media.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point. So when you talk about social media or media, so we had television, then we've had social media, and I think that people are liking proper authenticity, and I think AI is will create even more of that because you are going to have to declare that it's AI. I think that they're going to be able to automatically recognize if you've messed with something.
Yeah,
And we all use, well, if you're actually doing any social media at all, you're probably using it in as much as you have an idea, but you might run it through a sort of chat GPT to say, can you just spruce up my ID,
yeah,
me sort of prompt or
yeah,
whatever. But I think particularly when it comes to, because you can do with AI things that change the voice and
yeah,
that sort of thing. So there's definitely going to have to be things that come in to say this has been AI'd,
yeah.
so to
Being
speak.
edited.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so being more authentic and doing your ums and ahs and all of that. So we're doing this live now and it just feels better, doesn't it?
yeah, it does. Yeah,
And yeah, okay, there might have been a little bit of a problem when I hadn't got the Impressionists up and stuff. And so it does slow things down just a little bit. But this, the fast paced sort of, it's almost like dopamine
yeah,
stimulating. It,
yeah.
it's, it, it doesn't help you to feel happy, does it?
No, no, definitely not. It's that kind of, and that, like the human brain was only designed to like take in so much as well. When you constantly, if you're scrolling through
Mm.
social media and it's not, it's just not natural.
No. And we've been taught as children to strive, to work hard, to strive, and all of that side, and less of the creative and being in the moment. And I think that we've seen over the last 20 years more meditative,
Yeah,
mindful, all of that's come in more, hasn't it? And I
yeah,
think that's been a little bit of a backlash. And I think it's the same, going to be the same in art. So bringing it back to art, I
yeah,
think that being more raw, authentic, Perhaps having places where the canvas isn't always finished. I mean,
Mm,
things like that. I mean,
yeah,
I have trouble with it sometimes because I go, oh, but it doesn't quite look finished. But this one that I did just back here that just is hanging around because I don't know where to put it, is actually finished. I'm like, I'm like, I, it's, it was just really, it came together really, really quickly.
yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's it. Don't mess.
Yeah,
Don't,
that's
don't.
okay that it's come together easily as well, because quite often we think we have to really strive and perfect things, don't we? And actually,
Yes.
sometimes your paintings just come
Yeah,
together.
layers upon layers upon layers upon
Yeah,
layers.
yeah,
And I wonder whether it's going to change sometimes because I sometimes love art. We were in France. We went on a painting holiday, and we saw this exhibition, and it was just an exhibition with just the flowy line. It was like charcoal lines of figures, but it was very gestural, and
yeah,
and I went in there, and it was and just on bits of paper, and it was
yeah,
lovely. It was
yeah,
really lovely. The movement was incredible. And it was literally some charcoal lines and I think some sort of blocks of paint and then
yeah.
it was done. And you're just like, that's obviously somebody who's very skilled.
Of course.
Yeah. It's taken many, it's like, how long does it take you to do that painting? 20 years. You know, it's not,
Yeah,
you're
the
not doing something
combination
like
of
that.
it all, isn't it? It's not just
Yeah.
that moment, definitely.
Yeah.
I've always admired painters that you can see how it's been made, you can see the brush marks, you can see the strokes. There's definitely something that feels a lot more human about it and natural about it. So this painting that I've got behind me, there's bits of it that I'm thinking I should just leave that bit like it is because I
Mhm.
like, and it feels more spontaneous as well when you can see
Yeah.
paint dripping into different bits and how it
It
all works together.
feels like a newness, you know, that you
Yeah,
because and it feels like the colours are almost celebratory of the beginnings of something.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And like that's where I'm at in life as well. So it's just like the reflection of
I
all of
think it's got a little bit of Brighton there as well. It's got a little bit of it's not got seaside exactly, but it's got the
it.
colours of warmer.
Yeah,
Yeah, does that make sense? Climate,
yeah,
yeah. I
yeah.
can see that really, really easily. But what I also really like is because I'm looking now at the dark neutrals
Mm,
compared to the bright. That's really nice. I
yeah,
really like those. And then you've still got that textures, and that's before you've not. This is in no way finished, is it?
no,
But
no,
I
no.
can see there's little bits
Details.
where you've got already lots of nuances
Yeah,
in the areas that are, yeah, subtle nuances. So it's lovely
yeah.
already.
Oh, thank you.
Be
Yeah, I'm
nice to know how
excited.
it.
I'm excited. I feel like it's kind of something new is coming through, definitely in my painting, and I'm just trying to tap into like honoring the bits that I like and not really thinking too much about like a
Mm.
polished finish for this one.
And that's the difference. That's the thing that I feel like, and maybe we're wrong because but that's the thing that I'm liking. I'll show you what I did yesterday because it's really there's it. The printer. So I was in we were in a workshop and I was just like, can you see that?
Oh my,
That's
that's
quite impressionistic, isn't it?
yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah,
And I want to go on top of it with glazes and then put some florals. So it's sort of a floral, it's like a garden scene. But
yeah,
the printer had printed out because this is of my mum's garden and she was doing something and she because she comes to our workshops and she brought in some photographs and I'm like, oh, I really love that photograph. And then when I printed it out on my printer, it's not working, my printer. So
yeah,
it printed out in blue,
yeah.
right? And it was because it printed in this really odd colour, probably more like that sort of colour, that
Yeah.
I'm like, but it was warm. It was a lovely warm thing. So I just put the warmth underneath, and then did a warm layer, and then I'm doing a cool layer on top. And I'm like, do you know what? I actually really like this.
I
And
really
it gets
like
to
that.
a point where you go, hmm,
Yeah.
how much more do you do? It's like
Yeah.
really weird, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's not finished, but I was just, you know, and I think I want to do, I think what's happened is, and this is the response that Impressionism, I'm sure that the Impressionists must have been like us, right? So I've gone outside into the garden, and my garden is coming up with, it's like got poppies, and it's very, very cottage gardeny. So it's got poppies and oh, what are they called? It doesn't really matter, but lots of things that are sticking up in the end of
Yeah.
air and wavy, and it looked a bit of a mess briefly, but the flowers are all coming out now, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to go. I don't want to currently go into the woods and sketch. I want to just sit in my garden and do some, but I really, really want to. It's what I've been talking to you for a while, where I want to do the oil on top of the acrylic.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
I really feel like playing with
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
which is actually suddenly a complete new series on top of the one that I've got with the poetry. And so, but I'm thinking I could just have fun with this.
Yeah. Just enjoy it. It's exciting, isn't it? When
It
something
is.
kind of speaks to you like that and lights you up and fills you with all these ideas as well, doesn't it? With
Yeah.
like what to do with the artwork to express how you're feeling by what you're looking at.
But
It's a
you can
lovely feeling.
imagine the Impressionists doing that, can't you? You could just imagine it. You can
Yeah.
imagine one of them doing something and the other one going, oh, yeah, and
Yeah.
then another one, and then another one goes like the cubism. We've talked about this before, haven't we? So as one has an idea, the other one's gone, oh yeah, and we could do this with it, and then we could do, and that's the other thing about community, because it's when you talk about artists being lone wolves and all that sort of thing. I think artists work really better, sorry, really well when they trigger off each other.
Yeah, definitely. And you can, I think sometimes the whole lone artist thing is maybe born out of an artist feeling like they don't fit in with everybody else, the normal public. But when you get artists together, all sorts of exciting things happen, don't they?
They do. Yeah. You just go, oh, look at
Yeah.
that colour. And
I
other
mean, look
people
at
were
me
just
and
like,
you, where we are now compared to like when we first met and all the things that we've done together.
yes, yeah. And also, because I think that for a while, and maybe this is the lone artist as well, when you start off and you don't have friends who are artists,
Yeah.
and you gain them, don't you, over time,
Yeah.
particularly ones that resonate, because you can have friends that are artists that don't resonate with your work as
Yeah,
well.
and they might think completely different to how you think. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got like Lydia and Lynn the other day for the first time. We've gone out sketching, and they understand, they like to do the same things as you. But then I've got other people like Sue and Claire where we're going out and exhibiting together. And then
Yeah.
I've got you and we're doing Art Hub together. It's really, really great.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
having quite a good time, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, and your painting makes it look like you're having a good time too.
I am, and I'm feeling like genuinely excited about this and where it's going to go. It feels a bit more unpredictable compared to the other stuff that I've done recently. So it's nice. And I knew it was coming, but it's
Mm.
like it takes time to get there as well, doesn't it, sometimes? You know,
Mm.
I've done a few paintings before this and I've thought, it's not quite where I want to be. Um, but you've just got to kind of keep on going. Something exciting will happen eventually, but sometimes it takes a bit of time as well, doesn't it?
It does. And it's quite, because you have to, the reason it takes time is 'cause you have to do some of the background
Mhm.
work, whether
Yeah,
it be in ideas or whether you have to build your fundamentals up underneath, like those
Yeah,
colours there, I wouldn't have been able to do that a few years ago because I wouldn't have known what colours to use with what. I'm starting to experiment by using more colours and start to play outside of that limited palette. But then
yeah,
sometimes I'll bring it right back to like just a couple of colours. So I'm playing now with colour. I want to play with neutrals and play with it's those sorts of the real, the dark areas and
yeah,
playing with all that subtlety, which
yeah.
is what I'm seeing in your work as well, to be honest.
Yes, yeah, because
Yeah.
there's a lot more darker colours coming in, which I never used to use. And I probably did about 3 or 4 paintings before this one as well, which I feel were almost like a warm up to
Mm,
this.
mm,
And I think there was also something in just giving myself permission to divert from my usual style of artwork as well, because I think I've been in that space for like a long time. And sometimes it can take a bit of time to kind of let yourself to break free from
mm.
that as well.
What I'm doing here is giving myself permission to go back because I
Yeah,
always thought I
yeah,
would paint
yeah,
impressionistically. Then
yeah,
I'm like, no, I'm painting abstractly.
yeah,
And I'm like, but actually, I really like doing this, but in a looser, impressionistic way. And that probably is more me. And I do think that what I did was I started off really loose, but not without the skill, really.
yeah, yeah,
And then I thought I've got to learn the skill, so I became more realistic,
yeah,
going that way, more realistic.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then I'm like, yeah, but I want to paint sort of more abstract. So I've had to go way over here.
yeah,
And I think I'll come back to probably where I am. It's a development thing, isn't it? But
yeah,
I love, and I didn't know I loved, and I know that because I've come over here into the abstract field. I love collage more than I realized. So, and I love the idea of putting the words in and all
yeah,
of that. So that's definitely going to feature, but it's still developing. I can feel it. I can feel,
yeah,
even though I've tried, I've really tried, I'm trying and I've started to put words into pieces, but it's still not quite there.
yeah.
Mm.
And that's a completely new way of working as well, isn't it? That will require a little bit of
It's very, very different. I've got one here and it's
and
just not
lots of
quite.
experimentation.
Yeah, it's still, and this is only an under painting, but again, I feel a little bit like what will happen with this is I'll do a lot of the abstract and the collages and things underneath, and then I really would like to do oil on top.
Yeah, yeah,
And so because of that, so I think that this and this will merge sort of thing. That's what I
yeah,
think will happen. But I probably just need to do a lot to get
yeah,
that to work. And also I need to understand oil paint a little bit more because I'm not an oil painter.
yeah, yeah.
And I
Well,
know it,
I can help with that.
yeah,
It
you might have to because
needs to do a
I'm a
few
little
basic
bit like, I
ones.
know it's not difficult. Lydia once gave me like a lesson and she's like, Debbie, it's not difficult. Just
Yeah,
like, you just do this, but it just feels different. So,
yeah,
mm, yeah. I like the effect, and I tell you what I really like about oil paint is it brings out the color. So I knew it would blend, I knew it would do all those things, but the what it does with color is
yeah.
amazing.
It is beautiful. I find it so much easier to work with than acrylic. I just can't use acrylic anymore. I just feel like everything I do in acrylic looks rubbish. I mean, I probably could if I practiced it, but the effect that you get with oil, the luminosity that you get in it, that I also find the depth that you get with oil paint because
Mm.
acrylics, I think, a lot more kind of opaque,
Mm.
and it's a lot
It
quicker.
depends on the
Oil.
acrylic, of course, because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
very, yeah, and I've used acrylic ink that are transparent and have
Mm,
been amazing for
yeah,
glazes and stuff like that.
yeah, yeah,
So that's another thing I really enjoy playing with a little bit. So I never used to like opaque paint because I always loved transparency because I like seeing through. But I've really enjoyed starting to play with the differences of having the transparent and the opaque. So
Mm,
I do feel like the under things that's why I don't want to let go of the acrylic because I can do so much with it. But having that surface and bringing everything to life, it's almost like more a living, the oil feels more alive, doesn't it?
mm. Yeah, yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, we've talked for ages.
Halfway. Oh,
That's because we're enjoying it. We like him. I think you get the impression that we like impressionism.
yeah, I think that's quite obvious, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. We thank the impressionists.
Yeah, because they kicked off something I think really important, didn't they, within art? They completely changed the direction of art. So,
And
yeah,
from a personal point of view, without
yeah,
the impressionists, I don't think we would be doing our art.
probably not. No, no.
Hmm. I can't imagine me doing loads of still lives, or I can imagine doing still lives, but in a like changing the colours up.
Yeah,
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 you can imagine. Yeah, doing more of that.
yeah,
I
yeah,
do love a vase of flowers, like
yeah, yeah,
some flowers, like Van Gogh. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, me too. Yeah.
Mm. I think on that note, we shall say goodbye for this week. I don't know what we're going to talk about next week.
I'm not sure. I think we have got something scheduled, but I can't remember off the
I
top.
can't remember. I
But we
said to
always
Ruth,
have something to talk about.
I said to Ruth last night, should we talk about Impressionism? And she's like, yeah, I think that's what's scheduled, Debbie. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, because I knew that that I was going to be writing a post in art inspiration for it this month because we've changed things a little bit in Art Hub, haven't we? So our challenges that we do now run for 3 months. So we're doing summer colour as the challenge for
which is
people.
fabulous. Because, yeah,
Yeah, get out, get in their sketchbooks, join in. We share all of this stuff in the Art Hub as well. So it's nice to see what everybody else is doing. And alongside that, we thought art inspiration, colour, summer light, impressionism is the perfect theme, really, isn't it, for this time of year as
it
well?
is. And I'm a little bit because I was going to do because remember we were going to do it over a month first, and then we were like, this is too big for a month. It's going to go
Yeah,
over 3 months.
yeah,
And so originally I was going to do like a color matching thing, but now I'm like, this month I might do warm and cool color
yeah, yeah, that
because
would be
that
nice.
would be quite interesting. And also separating out your palettes into warm and cool because I think that would be really interesting to work a layer of warm and a layer of cool, or, really stopping to think. I
Yeah,
think if you work like that, you can also work with a larger palette, which is lovely for florals and that sort of thing.
yes.
So, yeah, I always like to teach things where I feel like I'm learning slightly myself as well.
Yeah, well, you said
Where
it
you
in that painting, didn't you, that you've recently done with like the cooler blues and greys, and then you've got the warm
Mm.
oranges. And I think there is something about that where their colours kind of offset each other and bring them out even more when you've got that kind of contrast as well.
Yeah, and you get that a little bit with your compliments, but if you're actively thinking warm and cool as well,
Yeah,
I think that's really interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, so it makes it slightly because you can even offset those compliments slightly. So they're compliments, but they're a little bit like I've always been interested, and we will finish in a minute, but in sunflowers because I've done, I know. We,
need
well, we
somebody.
could just finish and I'll carry on talking about sunflowers afterwards. But I very, very quickly, I did a workshop and the workshop, and you think of yellow and violet as the complements, but actually yellow and a bright bluey violet is fabulous.
Yeah,
Absolutely fabulous. And I'm going to end on that. Okay. So it's been lovely chatting to you, Ruth.
you too. It's been a good chat this
I
morning.
hope people watch and enjoy. We've
Yeah,
had a
me
nice
too.
time.
Covered quite a lot. Yeah, yeah. But let us know your thoughts as always. Any questions you've got, any topics you want us to discuss, we'd really love to hear from you.
And we do actually put a question of the week in. So
Yeah,
this week it is who's your favorite impressionist and why, or something like that, something along those lines. So it would be great to have some comments just to
yeah,
like, and we're trying to make it quite light. So
yeah.
yeah, so that we've got things to chat about. So I'm going to say goodbye for now, and yeah.
See you soon. See you next week.